Hey everybody, this is Minion Soldier, and this isn't any particular show. This is just me kind of wanting to go back and talk about the Aegis Eclipse again. Now, the Aegis Eclipse, of course, was the stealth bomber that was sold right about the end of May, beginning of June. That, well, I don't know. To me, it left me feeling very unfulfilled when I saw it. I just went, really? That's all that it does? It's just a bomber? And I wasn't happy with it. And I realized that there are people out there who are like, oh yeah, that's totally what I want. But for me, like, what made me unhappy about it wasn't its physical design, wasn't the way it was laid out, wasn't its armament, really. I mean, it was simply that. It was a stealth bomber, but nothing else. And I kind of felt that, it was kind of it just, really, that's it? A bomber? That's all that it does. It can't do anything else. And I'd ask questions like, oh, if there was like a smuggling area, that would be really cool. Nope, there's no smuggling area. And you'll remember the Q&A was just absolutely like, no, it's a bomber. No, it's a bomber. No, it's a bomber. Any additional modules or roles? No, very much. It's just a bomber. And I felt that, that was kind of a failure of imagination. Because I looked at it and I said, oh, you know what you could do with this thing? There was some really fun things that you could do with this thing. And I went back and I thought about it for a while, and some ideas came to me, but I thought, maybe I'll revisit that later in another video. And well, here we are. Now, one of the things that I want to say first off, of course, the Eclipse is probably one of the best designed ships that CIG has ever made. And I'm not talking about just simply like artistically, but functionally, logically, with the wings that can, fold up or fold back to further decrease, the radar cross section of the ship. The design of its cockpit and its layout, the placement of its engines. It's very reminiscent of a B-2 Flying Wing or a Horten 229, or was it Horten 229 or Gotha 229? I forget. But either way, the German Flying Wing of late World War II. It very much, evokes those designs, and there's nothing that I look at with this ship and I say inherently as a bomber it's terrible. There's nothing that's wrong with it. It's a fine design, and it's one of the best designs that CIG has ever come up with. My only qualm with this ship really is that for the price tag, I kind of felt like it kind of represents a bit of a missed opportunity to add in some other features that maybe you don't want to use it as a bomber. Maybe you want to use it as something else. And I think there's one thing, especially given planetary landings and these large surfaces of planets that you might want to search. There's another use for this ship that CIG may want to incorporate into it. Now, way back in the day, before, satellites and, spy satellites, they relied on aircraft like this being the U-2, to basically take photographs of enemy positions, enemy bases, troop deployments, that sort of thing. Now, this goes, way back to originally that's what aircraft did before they were fighting each other in the air. They were taking pictures of the trenches and, watching enemy movements, and that then evolved into them trying to fight each other, and then you have fighters and so on and so forth. But before there were spy satellites, people were flying around taking pictures of each other. Now, some of these pictures were, in the end, quite famous, such as pictures showing ballistic missiles being assembled 90 miles off the U.S. coast in Cuba. Back, 1962, I believe? Now, of course, a lot of time has passed between now and then, but this is a platform that remains in use, though largely for scientific purposes to this day. But it's still a viable platform. An aircraft that was built in the 1950s is still flying today. Now, despite all kinds of technological advances and new equipment, it still sees use, It's not something that they've just disposed of. And I thought, the Eclipse Bomber would be an excellent platform for this. Now, there's a few reasons why I kind of want to bring this in as an idea for this ship. First off, you might say, well, we already have scientific and exploration ships that can scan for things, that can look for things on the surface of planets or out in space, but do we really have a platform that can do so stealthily? Because maybe you want to go exploring in an area without someone knowing that you're in that area nosing around, or maybe you want to find something in hostile territory and maybe then exploit that information without someone knowing that you have it. Also, using missions like this as a platform, it can allow pilots to, even though they're not on an offensive mission, it'll help them develop the skill set of how to avoid sensors, how to manage my emissions so that I'm providing them the smallest possible footprint for other people to detect. Things like that, giving people experience with the mechanism without them having to actually go out and shoot torpedoes at people, but giving them the knowledge and the skill set so that when they do need to do that, they're much more able to get the job done. I think this would help build better pilots overall, and I kind of like the idea of, say, flying over hostile planets, hostile bases, or through hostile asteroid fields. Not in so much as maybe snapping actual photos, but using sensors which can then relate back to me, okay, here on this planet now, we found several points of interest, some places that you may want to come back to and take a closer look at. Things like that. I think that would be a fun type of gameplay, as when you log on, maybe you just kind of want to do your own thing for a couple hours, just have some quiet time just playing the game, and you want to just hop into a stealth ship and just go out and scan for things. I think that would be fun, especially when you add that element of trying to avoid being seen. I think that would be some really intriguing gameplay and a fun exercise to do here and there to get more used to the ship. And I think had that been part of the original concept, I would have probably been a lot more enthusiastic about the ship. I honestly think that the bomb bay on the Eclipse would be the perfect place to put a deployable sensor instead of torpedoes that either is cameras or various, futuristic sensing equipment, allowing a player to go around and explore the universe without being seen, and to play around with these types of stealth mechanics and going out on a spy mission, I think would be something really cool and something that would add a lot of depth and playability to a ship that more or less only has one role in the Star Citizen universe, and as a way to kind of give people a chance to get used to it and play the ship without having to take the big risks. Anyways, those are my thoughts. Just a short video. Those are my thoughts on the Aegis Eclipse and why I feel that it's kind of a missed opportunity. A great ship, but kind of a missed opportunity there. Anyways, tell me what you think in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.